a second way, Metaxas' work on Wilberforce's life allows us to witness that God has not finished his creative work. Like Wilberforce, we have the ability to create a better world, that beloved community of which Jesus Christ and the prophets spoke. Wilberforce's obsession with slavery's end was a blessing to those he would never know. Blind acts of love are often redemptive, sometimes painful, but always redemptive. Wilberforce's early defeats and setbacks early in his legislative life were all vindicated by his delayed victory in the House of Commons years after he introduced his first anti-slavery measure. Love is indeed long-suffering, as we are reminded in Paul's epistle to the nascent church in late ancient Corinth. His real redemption and justification were not accomplished during his lifetime nor in the House of Commons. The greatest benefits of his work and toilings are still being realized when oppression is confronted today. Racism is challenged everywhere, and a better, more loving world is ultimately created. The single greatest institutional memorial to Wilberforce is the university that bears his name. 151 years ago, men and women joined head and heart across the lines of race, class, and confessional statements to create America's first private, historically black college and university. Not in London, but in the states of the former British colony, stands an African-American college as memorial to a white British member of Parliament. The irony is not lost. At the time of the university's establishment, there was polite conversation in America's parlors and colleges about the basic humanity of African Americans. Even more unrealistic for many in that conversation was the ability of African Americans to learn, contribute to society, and exist beyond the pale of forced servitude. Today, Wilberforce University welcomes many of America's poorest and most undeserved populations and transforms their educational dreams into realities. The average household income of Wilberforce students hovers just above the nation's poverty line. But its students have not surrendered their hunger for excellence and thirst for achievement in the midst of economic and social challenge. In one small town named Wilberforce, Ohio, Wilberforce's legacy was never forgotten. At every commencement, the Wilberforce Bible is read, and in the margins are the unmistakable musings and notes of none other than William Wilberforce. Thousands of African Americans, Afro-Caribbeans, and Africans have presented their minds, bodies, and spirits at an altar of educational improvement. As a result, countless physicians, educators, lawyers, presidents of liberated African nations, members of Congress, and church leaders have graduated from Wilberforce University and now make the world a better place. It's more than ironic that in one of the few places where his name is remembered, that miracles continue to happen every single day. Lest we forget seems a fitting admonition in present times, in the midst of change's whirlwind. As the world recognizes Wilberforce, his work, and his Savior, let us not fall into former pits of forgetfulness. Floyd Flake, President, Wilberforce University, former U.S. Congressman from New York, and author of Practical Virtues and The Way of the Bootstrapper. Introduction. We often hear about people who need no introduction. But if ever someone did need one, at least in our day and age, it's William Wilberforce. The strange irony is that we are talking about a man who changed the world. So if ever someone should not need an introduction, whose name and accomplishments should be on the lips of all humanity, it's Wilberforce. What happened is surprisingly simple. William Wilberforce was the happy victim of his own success. He was like someone who, against all odds, finds a cure for a horrible disease that's ravaging the world. And the cure is so overwhelmingly successful that it vanquishes the disease completely. No one suffers from it again, and within a generation or two no one remembers it ever existed. The roots of the thing Wilberforce was trying to uproot had been growing since humans first walked on the planet, and if they had been real roots, they would have reached to the molten core of the earth itself. They ran so deep and so wide that most people thought that they held the planet together. The opposition that he and his small band faced was incomparable to anything we can think of in modern affairs. It was certainly unprecedented that anyone should endeavor, as if by their own strength and a bit of leverage, to tip over something about as large and substantial and deeply rooted as a mountain range. From where we stand today, and because of Wilberforce, the end of slavery seems inevitable, and it's impossible for us not to take it largely for granted. But that's the